Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Greg. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't really heard many people talk about or even mention, and that is creativity in medicine. When I started medical school 2 years ago, I quickly realized that I'm not like most people there, and kind of figured that when I got there, finally get to a place where people are like-minded, we're all interested in doing medicine, we're all intense people, hardworking people, who really like to learn and better themselves. But what I didn't realize was, all along I've been always taking kind of a path that wasn't, I wouldn't say traditional, but I kind of like to make my own path. I thought that once I got to med school, a bunch of people like me would be there, but what I didn't realize was the main difference that I had getting to med school was that I'm a really creative person, and so I love to make music and anything art related. I really enjoy, and I thought that there would be a lot of people like that in medicine, but it doesn't seem like there's that many people who are willing to kind of risk it and try something new. A lot of really logical people, and I mean, I guess it makes a lot of sense now, but the standards to get into medicine and to get to medical school are very, they're standardized, and it makes sense because you have to somehow standardize things in order to allow for a kind of more predictable outcome, and that you're looking for a certain type of individual. And the way to do that is say, look, biology, logic, this, that, whatever. And then if you're good at those skills, you're probably going to be a good doctor. But the difficult thing about that is what you're doing is you're selecting for people who like to fulfill certain criteria and kind of almost like a rubric. And the people who best fulfill rubrics are people who are probably agreeable, people who like to follow the rules, and people who don't like to follow the rules, people who like to break the rules, maybe try something new, maybe really creative people who hate rubrics, probably aren't the best at finding or fulfilling those requirements. Or at least they're gonna find some weird way to do it. I kind of realized, even me, an undergrad, every class that was really like heavy on, there's one way to do it and it's my way or the highway kind of, those classes always got on my nerves and I struggled. But anything that let me have a little bit of creativity and kind of just spread my wings a little bit, I feel like I got a lot more and I enjoyed those a lot more. But regardless, and I think in general, creative people probably get lower GPAs than less creative people. I think getting creative and doing something new, making something fresh, right? That's what creativity is about. Is like a risk that you're always going to take risks in order to make anything. And when you take risks, there's going to be failures. It's not very safe. The safest route is to not create new things. It's to do the most kind of predictable, follow a path that's already been done, and then what's going to happen with that. And that's perfect for a lot of things in life. But if you're a person who feels like they're dying on the inside, if they don't get to mix things up and to learn something new and really just push their own boundaries or the boundaries of whatever field they're in, it's going to be very hard for you to do that. Like you're not going to get any enjoyment out of what you do. So I realized this real quick, and I don't think there's a whole bunch of room in academics in general for creative people, because I think they either strike gold and maybe they take a risk and then it just works out because they discover something amazing, or they get kind of ridiculed for a little bit. Maybe eventually they'll strike gold, but it's a risky things that creative people do. You don't really know what the outcome's going to be. But my journey in this whole situation is I realized the best way to do it is at the very least, channel that creativity in something else. For me, it's music, as skateboarding, as doing physical things and going places, kind of stimulating myself with new experiences. But I realized if I don't do that, I will probably go a little insane. Hopefully, once I get into rotations and I see more people and I get to be exposed to a lot more variety, I will like flourish a little bit more in that, in specifically in medicine. But right now I'm really channeling my creative energy into creating music and just pushing myself out in more extracurricular type activities. You know, I'm definitely thinking about what specialties are going to be the most conducive to a creative mind. That's why I'm really drawn to surgery. I think surgery involves using your hands, which I definitely like. And you know, there's always going to be different presentations, and the anatomy of every person is different. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I think plastic surgery might be awesome for that reason, because to solve individual problems, you have to come up with unique solutions for every patient. And so that's something I might be interested in doing, something like reconstructive, and there's just so much being done in that field. But I think it's a challenge. I think it's definitely a challenge being creative in medicine. I don't think there's enough room, or even I would say, I don't think it's respected or valued enough or academics in general. A lot of people who are creative, I think, are perhaps ridiculed because they take like risks, and they will maybe, you know, give a far out thought process or something that might not be like the most predictable answer to a question when a professor's asking, what is the mechanism of this? And they're like, well, it could be this or it could be that. And the professor's like, yo, listen, there's one thing in the text and that's what I want you to say. Stop like thinking about all these other possibilities. Just give me what's in the text. So there's a challenge there. But at the same time, I think that there's a special uniqueness to someone who's creative in medicine. You know, you bring a new flavor to it, and there's definitely benefits to it. If you can push through the opposition and maybe like feeling uncomfortable and different, if you can get through that, I think that there's something special to you that people won't see in other doctors who are a little bit more linear. And maybe they get all those answers right all the time, and maybe they kind of know what the professor's expecting, and they kind of enjoy being able to just give right what is kind of expected of them all the time. And that's great. But I think, you know, for creative people, if you're a creative person, I would recommend, you know, you for sure taking the time to invest in your hobbies, because I've learned that if I was neglecting music or neglecting other creative outlets, I would start doing bad on my exams because I'm getting like depressed, honestly. And it gets very difficult to even focus on the more just straight up logical, even memorization, things like that. You know, and I'll throw my schedule out the window just because I'm like, listen, I don't feel good. I don't have any motivation to do anything. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, I'm done. But if you know, I take a break, I make some music, do some worship, I hang out with some friends and try something new, I feel like I can get back in the game and I have the motivation again. So that's my recommendation for you if you are a creative person. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you have had any experiences in medicine or academics that were different or similar to mine. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.